Hey, welcome back, everybody. Another video for you, some football commentary. So, as you can see by the title of the video, I wanted to do a little bit of a synopsis of the 2021 San Francisco 49ers. This has been an interesting offseason to say the least, with the COVID situation and the cap being lower, and the Niners were still able to keep a lot of their core players. That was kind of the first big interesting thing that happened this offseason. And then, of course, the second thing, which is the biggest, was the Niners trading up to the number 3 overall pick to select Trey Lance to be their future starting quarterback. The 2020 season came, on the heels of the 2019 season, in which we were 7 minutes away from winning a championship, the 6th Lombardi Trophy. And unfortunately, the Niners couldn't hold on, and Kansas City ended up winning that game, deservedly so. And so next year was all but titled the Revenge Tour, and that year couldn't have gotten off into a worse start, with no fans in the stands, to losing at least 15 plus players to injured reserve, losing a lot of our top players like Nick Bosa, George Kittle for parts of the season, Jimmy Garoppolo for a good majority of the season, and just, really bad quarterback play from, everybody, even Jimmy at some point when he played. So this offseason was a big offseason for the 49ers. They had to make some significant changes. One of those was revamping their quarterback room. The Niners kept Garoppolo, but, they jettisoned 2 of their backup quarterbacks in C.J. Beathard and, of course, Nick Mullins, and instead decided to draft a quarterback as well, number 3 overall, who has different athletic skills than we've really ever had on this team since maybe Colin Kaepernick. And then you look at the roster overall, and you looked at some of the question marks we had last year. The defensive line took a huge hit last year with all the injuries, and the Niners have done everything in their power to make this one of the deepest, most talented defensive lines. Having 11 defensive linemen on your roster is a good way of saying that the Niners are going to try to come at people in waves and disrupt the passing game as much as possible. The Niners also rebolstered their running back room with some young infused talent, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, of course, JaMycal Hasty now, and then our one and only Raheem Mostert. You look at the wide receiving room, the Niners, of course, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. But the big story, this offseason and this training camp was the rise of Trent Sherfield, a guy who is nothing more than really a special teamer. And now all of a sudden he's one of our top, 6 wide receivers. Jalen Hurd, there's still a lot of questions with him, but he made the roster, the 53. Juwan Jennings, a 7th rounder, was able to crack the starting lineup and made the 53 as well. And Mohamed Sanu, a guy that we had last year but was really injured and really was never feeling all that well, we kept him too. So the Niners have a pretty interesting mix of talent in their wide receiver room. Offensive line is still kind of a question. We brought in Alex Mack, we re-signed Trent Williams, but the right guard situation is still kind of a big question mark, with Aaron Banks being drafted and not looking too well, and now being injured and having to go to, guys that maybe aren't that talented at the right guard position. Mike McGlinchey coming off a bad year, you wonder how he's going to play. So, the offensive line is still a bit of a question mark. One of the other question marks is the secondary. They got a really good, starting crew, but after Verrett and Mosley and Kwan, there's a lot of question marks too there also. So this is going to be an exciting season. If the Niners can stay healthy, I think the Niners have a really good shot of, possibly winning the division and maybe making a run at this thing. I still think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the team to beat. It's going to take a lot to beat them, but, injuries can happen, things can happen, and we don't really know. The season hasn't started yet. There's a lot of comparisons going on with Trey Lance and Mac Jones and all this other stuff, and we haven't played a real game yet this year, so there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of nerves. I know I'm nervous, but it all comes down to health, and I think that the Niners can be healthy. They can, do some real damage this year. This is a new team than what we've seen. I think they're a deeper team than the 2019 49ers, but are they a better team as far as, week in and week out, how they're going to play? So we're going to have a lot of questions. Hopefully we get a lot of answers this year, and hopefully we can make it back to the big dance and maybe win it. That's going to do it for me. Just thought I'd talk about the 2021 49ers. If you guys have any questions, hit me down in the comments below. Please drop a like and subscribe if you like what you hear. And until next time, guys, I'll see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone.